Hey everyone, I want to take some time to speak to you about embarking on a new year. We have a tendency to kind of latch on to some of the cliches, in particular a new year, a new you. And so today I kind of want to take some time to chat with you about taking a different perspective and maybe viewing it from a reframing of your mindset. Working as a fitness coach, nutrition coach, what I realize is that, and even myself as an individual, because of course I have areas of growth, it's not exactly easy to reframe our thinking. And if you think of the word reframe by definition, so it's to frame a thought or a concept differently, maybe from what we had done before, out of our habit or our pattern that we were used to before. So, this time of year, I find that there are many people that are wanting to, if you will, have a different perspective on and take on a new, fresh way of engaging their healthy habits and fitness and so forth this time of year. And I find one effective way, as I kind of view that from experience personally and then also with my clients, I think an effective way to think about this is really just, again, going back to how we frame our thoughts around what it is we want to accomplish. And I would have to say right off the bat, it's really about having a fresh perspective, taking the perspective from the angle of refreshing or rebooting ourselves, if you will. And it's a process. And I've had to learn that as I'm actually coached, and I in turn coach others, but I learned from my coach what's important about the process of reframing your thinking. So what that can do for you, let's talk about maybe first ways you can do it, and then some of the advantages of reframing your thinking beyond maybe some of those simple things that we say, okay, it's a new year, new me, I'm just going to go at this and try to eat healthy and exercise regularly. But let's just talk about what's going on with our mindset. We might take on new year, new you perspective as a very temporary engagement. In other words, we're going to do this for a length of time to kind of get us off the ground, to build some momentum. Instead of maybe looking at it from the perspective of, well, why don't I make this more about a lifelong endeavor? Maybe first and foremost, make the decision to make this long term. So that would be a great way to start off, instead of maybe looking at it as a temporary endeavor. Having that mindset of new year, new me. Okay, let's see what happens. We're going to give it a shot. Just go for it. See what happens in 90 days. If it's weight loss, if it's just feeling healthier, it's a process. And if we understand that process takes time, I think we're willing to commit. So again, looking at it from an angle that's going to be a little bit more, carry some more longevity with it. I guess that's where I'm going. Another thing that could be helpful, besides just having a longevity perspective to our process, if you will, is realizing that it's okay to have some stumbles. It's okay to maybe in your mind, fail. Well, I think failure really is, simply put, just another opportunity to do it differently next time. So if we kind of erase failure from our vocabulary, let's just say it's not failure necessarily, it's just another opportunity. So if I take another opportunity to get this going the direction I need it to go, and maybe see what results I can achieve by just taking a different angle on something, then I think that's just a much more uplifting, a much more energetic way to look at this. So having that thought process behind what you do this time of year, reframing your mind, making it about taking the word failure or defeat out of the vocabulary, out of your mental place. So just want to leave you with maybe one or two other key points. And for one reason, it's a little chilly out here today, but you know, I love to be outside, so you know, talking, being outside is just great for me. It's very therapeutic. Reframing the mindset also has everything to do with engaging with others that are in a place of growth and renewal. So, if we surround ourselves with other people that are, you know, doing their best to become healthy, they're exercising, they're eating right, and we're not necessarily trying to take anything away from them, because oftentimes that can be a very daunting experience when you're the one that's in the office doing all these things, and your coworkers aren't exactly lifting you up. You might have one or two that encourages, hey, great job, I like to see that you're making some healthy changes, and you're doing things for the better, and you're doing things for you. You know, believe it or not, some people take that as there's some intimidation there. They may even find that that coworkers might even kind of down on them. They may even say something to the effect that, you know, well, that's good for you, but hey, you know what? You can't necessarily eat healthy all the time. You know, you gotta indulge every now and again. And, you know, here's a plate full of chocolate chip cookies. Help me eat these things. You know, those things are going to occur. And so now you kind of feel that you're being brought down a little bit. So if you surround yourself with more of the positive, the more uplifting encouragement that would really make a difference for you and help build you up and not bring you down, you know, that's another way to reframe what it is you do. You know, now you're taking that time to build a community, if you will, amongst others that have a similar mindset. So walking away with that as yet another way to reframe what you do. And if we take it from just maybe a final point out of all of this, and that is, don't ever discount the power in documenting, writing down. If you journal, if you, I don't know, keep a voice memo on your phone or whatever the case is, and you're now taking part in showing the milestones throughout your journey by writing them down or documenting them some way. Maybe you're doing a video. I don't know. Maybe you're doing something like this. You can look back and you can say, hey, you know, I can see that, you know, 2 months ago I made these changes. I changed how I approached grocery shopping, or I made a point to spend more time in the produce aisle, and I made it a point to be more active at attending my fitness classes and also working with my trainer and my nutrition coach. You know, I hosted some gatherings at my house that weren't all about eating bad food and drinking tons of alcohol. They were more about maybe just enjoying the company of the folks around you, and maybe you had more healthy alternatives and snacks there present. You know, any of those things can make a huge impact when you size up a journey. It's just making those small steps over time. And when you take the small steps over time, there's some monumental changes that will take place. But it does start by how you think, reframing it. You know, so I've said that several times, and hopefully that's sticking in your mind. We reframe our thinking to help, if you will, reboot and reset where we are currently. And it is a process. We all have to do it to some degree, if it's either not just in the realm of health and fitness, but maybe in our professional life or in our social life or whatever. There's a point where we have to get out of a rut, or stagnation can happen, it can occur, and we might not find that we can move far enough forward and where we want to be. So we need to constantly think about evolving and changing and doing things that challenge us, but it starts with how we think and reframing everything. So I hope that this is helpful for you. You could take this and run with it. You might apply it towards healthy living. I hope you do. If you don't, no worries. You might find another place professionally in your line of work, and maybe you have to apply this. But again, thank you so much for taking time to listen in. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you guys soon. Remember, if you reframe and refresh, you'll be able to reboot and get yourself where you want to be. Have a good one.